Welcome to Learning with Lisa. Today we will practice rounding whole numbers using my favorite rounding strategy. We'll start with small numbers and move up to bigger numbers as we go. The first number that I would like to round is 85. We're going to round 85 to the nearest 10. Before I start, let me tell you a little mnemonic device that I like to use to help me remember what to do when I'm rounding. The mnemonic device is a little saying. It's 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 or less, stay at rest. As we go through the problem, you'll see how I use that strategy. I'm going to round to the nearest 10, so I'm going to underline the 10's place. The 8 is in the 10's place, so I underline the 8. I'll circle the digit that is to the right of the place I'm rounding to. The 5 is to the right of that place, and when I circle a number, that makes that number my boss. So now the 5 is my boss, and I go back to my saying to remind me what my boss is going to tell me to do. If it's 5 and above, I'll say give it a shove. If it's 4 or less, I'll say stay at rest. This number is 5. That puts it in the category of 5 and above. So I'm going to give my 8, the number I underlined, a shove. When I give my 8 a shove, I move it up 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay? So my answer is going to have a 9 in the 10's place. Everything after the digit I underlined, the digit I'm rounding to, becomes a 0. If there's anything before that digit, that stays the same. There's nothing before the digit in this number, so I will not do anything there. 85 rounded to the nearest 10 is 90. The next number we'll round is 83. We'll round 83 to the nearest 10. I'll underline the 8 because it's in the 10's place, and I'll circle the 3. The 3 is my boss. The 3 fits in the category of 4 or less. That will tell me stay at rest. I'm going to look at my underlined digit, and stay at rest means keep it the same. So 8 will stay the same. Everything after the digit I underlined that I'm rounding to becomes a 0. If there's anything before it, it stays the same. In this number, there's nothing before it. So my answer is 80. 83 rounded to the nearest 10 is 80. We'll do one more two-digit number. 98 rounded to the nearest 10. I'll underline the 10's place because I'm rounding to the nearest 10. I'll circle my boss to the right. 8 is 5 and above. That tells me to give it a shove. When I give 9 a shove, when I add 1 to 9, it becomes 10. I cannot fit two digits, the 1 and the 0, into the 10's place, so I need to move over to the hundreds place. Okay, so this is a 10. Everything after the digit I'm rounding to becomes a 0. There's nothing before that, so that will stay like it is. So 98 rounded to the nearest 10 is 100. Let's move up to more digits. Our next number, 4,384. And once again, we'll round to the nearest 10. I'll underline the 10's place, the 8. I'll circle the boss to the right of it, which is 4. 4 is 4 or less, so that tells me my 8 will stay at rest or stay the same. Everything to the right of my 8 becomes a 0. Everything to the left of my 8, or before my 8, stays the same. 4 stays the same. I'll put my comma in, and 3 stays the same. 4,384 rounded to the nearest 10 is 4,380. Now let's round something to the nearest 100. $8,488 rounded to the nearest 100. Okay, I'm rounding to the hundreds place now, so I need to underline the hundreds place. This 4 is in the hundreds place. To the right of it is my boss. Circle the boss. My boss is 8. 8 is 5 and above. That tells me to give this digit a shove. If I give 4 a shove, I add 1 to it. Makes it a 5. Everything to the right of the digit I'm rounding to becomes a 0. Everything before it to the left stays the same. 8,488 rounded to the nearest 100 is 8,500. Now let's round to the nearest 1,000. $46,732 rounded to the nearest 1,000. I need to underline the thousands place. The 6 is in the thousands place. I need to circle my boss to the right. 7 is 5 and above. That tells me to give it a shove. My 6 is underlined. That's the one that I'll shove. When I shove it up, it goes up 1 and becomes a 7. Bring my comma down. Everything after that digit becomes a 0. Everything before it becomes, it stays the same. 46,732 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 47,000. Let's round one more to the nearest 1,000. $46,483. Rounding to the nearest 1,000, so I underline the thousands place. Circle my boss to the right. My boss is 4 or less, so this digit stays at rest, stays the same. 6 stays the same. Bring down my comma. Everything after it becomes a 0. Everything before it stays the same. 46,483 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 46,000. I'm going to show you one more example. I'm going to round this one to the nearest 100. This number will be 48,964. I'll underline my hundreds place, and I'll circle my boss to the right. The 6 is 5 and above. That tells me to give it a shove. When I give my 9 a shove, it becomes a 10. I cannot fit a 10 into the hundreds place, so I'm going to need to take that 10 and combine it with my thousands place. So this will stay a 0. This I need to add to the 8. So that will be a 9. Bring my comma down. Now, everything to the place I'm rounding to becomes a 0. Everything to the left that I didn't change already will stay the same. 48,964 rounded to the nearest 100 is 49,000. Thanks for watching Learning with Lisa today. You can subscribe at Learning with Lisa. We'll do more math videos as time goes on.